Actually, before beginning, I want to give you an interesting question. What it means not to have strict mathematics in OS? What do you think about it? I have a hint for you, this picture. Oh, say something at least.
No security.
No. Yeah, bingo, he's right. So, but we will go it later. But overall, by the picture, what do you can see about this overall? I mean, that's right. You said the right thing. Yeah, we have no protection, but what do you can depict specifically?
Someone.
Yes. Inscript.
Encryption.
Encryption. Ah, yeah, that's also right. So. You already know. No, you know more than I expected. So, yeah. So, the problem here, well, I will jump to the later, but overall the thing is here, everything from the camera to my bank password and my private photos, everything is in the one place. So, we have an OS without discrete mathematics, which means everything is in one place. So, let's see. I have actually a video of me creating my OS, which is interesting. Let's check. So I just entered to my OS as usual, go to my browser and download one movie, my favorite movie, yeah. And it's
It was at this moment that he knew.
oh my god. Oh my god, we failed. Yeah, we failed. I guess we accidentally downloaded a virus and it destroyed all our operation system. What a mess up. Well, we need to see why did this happen. So, virus had an all-you-can-eat buffet pass, literally. It entered to my OS and got my bank passwords. Oh, I guess so. Yeah, it got my last 100 yuan. What you can do about it? Nothing. Well, yeah. So, it got my kernel, that's why I can't open my OS again, and I need to download my OS again, because it got destroyed. And worst of all, it got my privacy. Oh my god. What a failure. Oh my god. Yeah, he looks very happy. I think he got everything in my OS, and now my photos are meme across the internet. So, this is my client. Let's see what he thinks about my OS. Oh my, calm down. Calm down. Nah. I think he's also got attacked by a virus and he's angry. Well, I lost a client, but at least get a hater. So, something. Let's see the Chinese business. So, they say past event not forgotten, served as feature for later events. So, let's check the past. Let's see how the people from the past, our predecessors, computer scientists, fix this problem. Let's see 1988 Morris war incident. This is happened on November 2, 1988. A guy who was 23-year-old from university, graduate student, downloaded a virus accidentally to the early internet and affected almost 6,000 machines, thus affecting almost 10% of the internet at that time. And the problem is that every internet that time OSs, all of them had no discrete mathematics applied. Thus everything was in the one place. And virus easily affected everything from one app to everything on the whole OS. Yeah, what do you think? What the people had the reaction at that time? Well, they had the same reaction as me in the calculus exam. Accepted their fate. And especially after seeing the grade. Yeah. Wow. What a fun. So, how we can do this? How we can fix this problem? Well, let's just give up and let it happen. Of course I'm joking. We computer science students never give up. Our solution is set theory. Yeah, we never give up. Thus, we have actual solution, which is set theory. Yeah. So, the lesson from the past mistake is the fact that Morris war had everything in the OS because of infecting just one single app. Thus, it got everything. So, we need to make every app disjoint sets. Thus, the OS will be protected. So, if the virus will infect the browser, it won't be able to infect other apps like kernel, like the bank passwords, and my private photos. So let's check. We have this kind of example. In modern OSS, most people use different users, so it will be more protection. Let's give 3 users, Alice, Bob, Charlie. As you see, we have Alice files and Bob files. And Alice and Bob files never actually connect with each other. It gives null set normally. Meaning that if Alice files are infected and if Alice system is infected, it cannot touch Bob's files, thus giving a protection. It's used in all of the most modern OS like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and well, basically even Android and iOS. Process isolation is interesting one. So, if you check, right now modern OS use 2 basic tactics to use, which is access control list. Each object, like file, folders, device, printers, and stuff, everything inside have their own subjects and permissions. As an example, I can give like, for example, for these users, 4 users, we have one file, bank password, text file, and Alice can read and write this file. She has the 2 permissions. Bob has only just reading only file, and Charlie has no access at all. He can't read this file at all. And admin, who has full control, can also manipulate the access control list, thus giving Alice, for example, restricting her ability of writing, or giving Charlie access to this file. We have also the other method, which is capability. Capability is like literally giving a process or the user their own keys to open the doors. Like downloading, for example, for the Chrome, you can give the Chrome the ability to download folders, like downloading a movie, for example, and I accidentally download virus. You can give it ability to download folders and cache folders, and also the, of course, network, so it can actually enter to the World Wide Web. Without capabilities, Chrome can read any file on your system. Thus, in the early OS, if the browser was infected, it could get into your documents and steal every information. So, to restrict it, we give it capability. Just restricting to downloads and cache. It cannot read our documents, nor bank passwords, text files. This is the example as set theory. As we see, capabilities Chrome downloads only cache and network. We don't have no other permissions for it. Protection rings, interesting one. This one has very interesting concept that everything, these rings are actually unlisted subsets. Inner rings have lots of sets than the other preceding ones. It's like hardware and privilege levels. So rings are like a set of group of apps which has the more permissions than the next one. Ring 0 is the kernel set, the whole your OS. From the for Windows we can say it's like the command prompt. It's the only admin can change it. The rings ones are again the prompts used by admin to change something inside the OS itself. Ring 2 and Ring 3 are usually the general apps like Chrome, video games, and text files. So it means that if virus is mistakenly downloaded to Ring 3, which is the browser itself, it cannot enter to Ring 0 or Ring 1 because it hasn't got enough permissions. It's just a subset of other preceding ones. As an analogy, I can give you an analogy of the Forbidden City in the Beijing. We can explain that Ring 3 is the outskirts of the city, of the Forbidden City. And everybody can, from emperors to peasants, can work outside the city. While Ring 2 is the inside of the Forbidden City, where only high-ranking officials can enter and do their stuff. Ring 1 is already the palace itself. Only the trusted high-ranking officials can enter the palace itself. While Ring 0 is the throne itself. Only emperor can enter there. So no rebel cannot enter from the outskirts of the Forbidden City to the emperor's throne. They just can't, because they will face the guards, the walls, the palace itself. Same applies to our virus. It cannot enter to the kernel without encountering the memory management units and the other protection measures. Virtual machines. Wow, this one's an interesting one, because I'm going to explain them. But before, let's see what we have. So we have enough already protection for our privacy. Ring 0, we have the kernels, driver, file system, and everything inside our OS. But let's just imagine, if virus enters to our kernel, and then it has the absolute control of our OS, what we can do against it? So, countering it is actually pretty interesting job. So, for this, we planned a new level below ring 0, which is ring -1, which we call the hypervisor. It's like as we see, the virtual machine, which makes the OS to work to things that actually there is some kind of other kernel, but it's in fact virtual hardware provided by the hypervisor. So, like if the virus enters from ring -1 and it tries to control our actual ring 0, it won't be able to, because it's in the box and it will be stuck there in the virtual hardware. So let's see what people use for virtual machines for, and they no sounds, right? Yeah, they use for this stuff. They use for dancing. Yeah! Let's dance, come on! Woo! Yeah, you see how chill this guy is. Well, he's chill because he knows that in virtual machine the virus cannot enter to his actual computer and his actual files. Like mine, they enter to mine. So he's happy, as you see. And he's low cardio. And lucky guy. Or rather, he's just rich enough to buy new computers each time. Let's enter to even extreme. So we have all of this stuff, even virtual machines. But still, we have a big problem. Because Windows and macOS, all the apps, still our apps use the one set, which is like rings. Ring 3 still is big, and if the virus enters to your browser, it still can read your text files and some of your privacy. So what we can do against this? We're just gonna do it to push the set theory to its maximum limit, and we're gonna apply complete disjoint sets for each application. Think of it like browsers for Qubes OS, for example. We have actually there is one OS which uses this measure, which is named Qubes OS. Qubes OS is like using for each app, for each sets, for each links, it uses disjoint boxes. And therefore, if virus enters to your browser queue, for example, which is only designed for browsers, it cannot enter to your banking queue. Basically because it just have no sets is connect with each other. And virus is stuck on browser queue. You can be relaxed and download whatever you want in the browser queue, because if it gets hacked and if your browser queue gets corrupted, you can just delete this browser queue and download it again. While your banking cube and work cube and other important cubes will be free and in the protected layer. DOM 0 is like in Qubes OS, like the same as kernel in other OS. Simply put, like this. Yeah, this is the formal definition for this. Like we can see that Q is Q1, Q2. It's like cubes, and we have banking, working, the browser, and video gaming cube. Each of them are different. And for any two different cubes, they have no connection. Thus, if virus enters, it cannot just compartmentalize the other ones. Simple. Yeah, and it's crying. Simple. Thanks for listening. Don't give me any stupid questions. Yeah.